received a call today from the President of the United States at a little after noontime from Air Force One. My commission as Secretary of State will terminate at midnight, March the 31st.
这是一场难堪的分手。在沉默了9个月之后，提勒森说出他当时闪电被离职的真相。
Rex Tillerson offering up a harsh assessment of the president he served.
I think he really is trying to act on his instincts. It was challenging for me, coming from the disciplined, highly process-oriented ExxonMobil Corporation, to go to work for a man who is pretty undisciplined, doesn't like to read, doesn't read briefing reports, doesn't like to get into the details of a lot of things, but rather just kind of says, look, this is what I believe, and you can try to convince me otherwise, but most of the time you're not going to do that.
Tillerson saying he needed to remind the president to obey the law.
We did not have a common value system. When the president would say, well, here's what I want to do, and here's how I want to do it. And I'd have to say to him, well, Mr. President, I understand what you want to do, but you can't do it that way. It violates the law. It violates a treaty. You know, he got really frustrated, and I think he grew tired of me being the guy every day that told him you can't do that. And let's talk about what we can do.
That's very, very interesting.
After Tillerson's words today, the president tweeted, Tillerson didn't have the mental capacity needed. He was dumb as a rock. He was lazy as hell.
提勒森也不是唯一触怒川普的人。
He was given a fairly long jail sentence, and he's a weak person. And by being weak, unlike other people that you watch, he's a weak person, and what he's trying to do is get a reduced sentence. So he's lying about a project that everybody knew about.
Inside a somber federal courtroom, Michael Cohen acknowledged Donald Trump's criticism that he was weak, saying his weakness was blind loyalty to Donald Trump.
I felt it was my duty to cover up his dirty deeds. Michael Cohen left federal court after being sentenced to 3 years in prison. Cohen pleaded guilty to 9 counts in 2 separate federal cases, including tax evasion, lying to Congress, and making illegal hush money payments to Playboy model Karen McDougal and porn star Stormy Daniels during the 2016 campaign.
Cohen's attorney had no immediate comment.
Are you happy with the verdict, sir?
I'm not going to make a comment on the sentence right now.
The president's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, reacted today saying Michael Cohen lied in court today. He said his greatest mistake was loyalty to Trump. What loyalty? What kind of lawyer tapes his client?
But Michael Avenatti, the attorney for Stormy Daniels, did speak to the press outside soon afterwards, saying Michael Cohen only told the truth after he was facing time in prison.
This is an outrage. He deserves every day of the 36-month sentence that he will serve. Michael Cohen was sentenced today. Donald Trump is next. Thank you.
这部全然是气话，因为虽然不如通俄门案受到瞩目，但是最后让川普陷入弹劾风暴的，很可能是封口费案。
And really, the test is this a payment that would have been made irrespective of the campaign? Would he have been paying off these women anyway? And there's good circumstantial evidence that he would not have been. And so one thing we know with the Stormy Daniels payment is that Stormy Daniels' lawyer was looking for payment for a long time. And that payment didn't come until October 25th, 2016, just before the election, when the lawyer says that Daniels is about to go to a media outlet and tell her story. So it doesn't look like it's really personal. It looks like it's campaign related. Here, there might be documentary evidence, and you certainly have the potential testimony of Cohen that could prove that this was in fact intended to help the campaign rather than just to help Trump personally.
如果真是如此，川普涉及违反美国选举财务法，因为科恩当初向2名女性支付6位数字美元的封口费，远远超过竞选捐献不得超过2700美元，且必须申报的法律规定。
My takeaway is there's a very real prospect that on the day Donald Trump leaves office, the Justice Department may indict him, that he may be the first president in quite some time to face the real prospect of jail time.
David Pecker, publisher of the National Enquirer, whose company wrote the check to Karen McDougal. Federal prosecutors in New York say his company admitted the purpose was, quote, to suppress the woman's story so as to prevent it from influencing the election.
In Washington, D.C., President Trump ignored reporters' questions about Cohen's sentencing and made no public remarks.
Mr. President, did Michael Cohen cover up your dirty deeds?
And on Twitter today, the president said he never directed Michael Cohen to break the law. He was a lawyer and he is supposed to know the law. It is called advice of counsel, and a lawyer has great liability if a mistake is made. That is why they get paid.
They put that on to embarrass me. They put those two charges on to embarrass me. They're not criminal charges. What happened is either Cohen or the prosecutors, in order to embarrass me, said, listen, I'm making this deal for reduced time and everything else. Do me a favor, put these two charges on.
Under no circumstances do I want to embarrass the President of the United States of America. The truth is, I told the truth. I took responsibility for my actions. And instead of him taking responsibility for his actions, what does he do? He attacks my family.
He's saying very clearly that he never directed you to do anything wrong. Is that true?
I don't think there's anybody that believes that. First of all, nothing at the Trump Organization was ever done unless it was run through Mr. Trump. He directed me, as I said in my allocution, and I said as well in the plea. He directed me to make the payments. He directed me to become involved in these matters, including the one with McDougal, which was really between him and David Pecker, and then David Pecker's counsel. I just reviewed the documents in order to protect him. I gave loyalty to someone who truthfully does not deserve loyalty.
He was trying to hide what you were doing, correct?
Correct.
And he knew it was wrong?
Of course.
And he was doing that to help his election?
You have to remember at what point in time that this matter came about, 2 weeks or so before the election. So yes, he was very concerned about how this would affect the election.
To help his campaign.
To help him and the campaign.
在科恩判刑前，川普可是火力全开，发出一连串推文，猛攻特别检察官穆勒。
He declared, "We will be doing a major counter-report to the Mueller report. This should never again be allowed to happen to a future president of the United States." Already 87 pages done.
但是在科恩判刑之后，通俄门案可能会出现突破性的发展。
Questions also remain about why Cohen lied to Congress about the White House's contact with Russian officials and what details he provided to Special Counsel Robert Mueller's office on Trump's ties to Russia. Information that may prove to be more damaging to the president.
In a separate memo to the judge, lawyers from the special counsel's office say Cohen met with them 7 times and provided useful information about discrete Russia-related matters core to its investigation. They also reveal Russia reached out to the Trump campaign as early as November 2015, offering political synergy and proposing a meeting between candidate Trump and Vladimir Putin.
The deal to build a Trump Tower in Moscow was just one of many topics discussed, according to a source.
Mr. Cohen will continue to cooperate.
Cohen pleaded guilty to lying to Congress. He now admits discussions about the project lasted as late as approximately June 2016, when Trump was the presumptive Republican presidential nominee.
I didn't do the project. I decided not to do the project, so I didn't do it.
随着通俄门调查越来越接近最后收网，川普出招了。
Bill Barr will be nominated for the United States Attorney General position. I think he will serve with great distinction.
President Trump wants William Barr to be his next Attorney General. If nominated, it will be a second tour of duty for Barr. He served as Attorney General during the George H.W. Bush administration. A whiz kid from Columbia University and George Washington University Law School, Barr was just 42 when he first became Attorney General. While President Trump doesn't know Barr, they do have one thing in common. Barr fully supported the president's decision to fire FBI Director James Comey last year.
68岁的 Barr 接任司法部长后，将会负责监督穆勒的调查任务。川普与穆勒的总统大卫攻防战未完待续。